Hi guys, welcome back to Recaps Unfold. Today we will be recapping an intense portrayal of the decade-long hunt for Osama bin Laden, the mastermind behind the 11th of September 2001 terrorist attacks. It begins with a lady named Maya, a young CIA officer who is willing to take risks and push boundaries in order to achieve her goal of tracking down bin Laden and bringing him to justice. Spoiler alert, watch out and enjoy the ride. It begins with the actual 9/11 calls made during the 9/11 attacks. Then 2 years later, in 2003, a detainee named Amr is being interrogated by CIA agent Dan in a dimly lit cell. Then we see Maya, who has just arrived there as a young CIA recruit and is introduced to Dan. She is there to assist in interrogating Amr, who is being questioned for information about bin Laden, his associates, their contacts, and al-Qaeda operations. Maya is initially shocked by the brutal physical tactics used by agents to extract information, where once he was almost suffocated. Maya is visibly uncomfortable with the torture methods. Despite the brutality of the interrogation, Amr does not reveal any information at all. Later, Maya heads over to the United States Embassy in Pakistan to take her post on her first field assignment. There she meets the CIA chief Joseph Bradley and all her colleagues. Their job is to find al-Qaeda group location and try to find out where Osama bin Laden is hiding. The next day, Dan and Maya come back to interrogate Amr in the detention room again. This time Dan uses different torture techniques and pulls Amr's pants down, but he still refuses to give out any information. This makes them confine Amr inside a tight box with no ventilation. Then on the 29th, May 2004, at Khobar, Saudi Arabia, another terrorist attack takes place. Many Americans and non-Muslims were killed in the incident. Dan watches the news with Maya and a colleague named Jessica. Dan considers it a failure for himself, since he couldn't extract the information from Amr about the terrorist attack. Suddenly Maya proposes an idea to sleep-deprive Amr, so that his brain fails him, and take advantage of the situation. As Amr has no knowledge of the terrorist attack, since he's in isolation, they use that to extract the necessary information. As planned, Maya and Dan bring Amr out of confinement and approach him in a more conversational manner by offering him food. Dan then talks to Amr and lies about how they managed to stop the attack in Khobar and save many innocent lives with the help of Amr's given information. Amr starts to believe them and reveals some names of important al-Qaeda's commanders and a person named Abu Ahmed al-Kuwaiti, who was a messenger for Osama bin Laden. He also reveals that he saw him in Karachi a year ago. After getting that name, Maya reviews old interrogation footages to gain more information on Abu Ahmed. Maya then visits another CIA black site in Poland to lead on Abu Ahmed. There she talks to a detainee with a CIA agent named Hakimi. The prisoner identifies Abu Ahmed from a photo and says that he works for Abu Faraj. Also, that he carried messages from Faraj to bin Laden and from bin Laden to Faraj. Maya then meets the CIA chief and tells him that 20 detainees recognize Abu Ahmed from the photo, but she says that they are not sure if he meets bin Laden directly, or is he just the last guy in a long line of couriers. But the chief suggested that there's a lack of leads, and no concrete information about his real name or location. He commends her for her good work, and tells her to let him know when she gets some actionable intelligence which can lead to a strike. Then in London, on the 7th of July, 2005, a double-decker bus gets bombed and is the latest terrorist attack from al-Qaeda. Maya and Bradley watch the news of the attack on television. Maya is seen entering an ISI detention center in Pakistan. There she interrogates another detainee who was the key financier to the al-Qaeda. He tells Maya that Abu Ahmed was a trusted courier of bin Laden and that he can't be found because he has disappeared. Meanwhile, Dan pursues Abu Faraj with the help of Pakistani police, and they succeed in trapping and arresting Faraj. Maya gets an opportunity to interrogate Abu Faraj. He completely denies knowing Abu Ahmed. After torturing Faraj extensively and nothing coming out, Maya finally stops the interrogation as she is exhausted. Then Dan informs her that he is leaving and offers her to get out of there and go back to Washington with him, but Maya declines, as she intends to continue her pursuit of Abu Ahmed and kill Osama bin Laden. Dan also warns her to be careful with the detainees with the changing politics, and that she should watch her back in Pakistan, where everyone knows her. Then on the 20th of September 2008, Maya meets with Jessica, her co-worker at a hotel. While they're discussing about Abu Ahmed and their findings, a bomb blasts in the hotel. Somehow, Maya and Jessica rush towards the exit and escape safely. Shortly after the incident, Jessica finds footage of the Al-Qaeda Inner Circle's meeting, recorded by Humam Khalil al-Balawi, a Jordanian doctor. Jessica and Maya then consult with Bradley for a meeting with al-Balawi. Bradley doesn't give the approval at first, but after Maya and Jessica convince him, he approves the same. The meeting is supposed to happen at Camp Chapman in Khost, Afghanistan, since he cannot come to Islamabad or anywhere else outside Al-Qaeda territory. On the 30th of December 2009, Jessica, along with other CIA agents, wait for Balawi's arrival. After a long time, a car is seen coming towards the base, and as per their prior agreement, Jessica instructs the guards to let the car in without being searched. The car gets inside the base, and an old man comes out of the car with his hands in his pockets. The man detonates a bomb that kills several guards and several CIA agents, including Jessica. After receiving the news about the death of Jessica, Maya is shattered and is lost in grief. To make the situation worse, she receives the information that Abu Ahmed has been confirmed dead by one of the detainees. Maya is on the verge of a breakdown, but she gathers herself and becomes more motivated to find and kill bin Laden. The next day, she is called to a meeting with CIA officials. Their superior George screams at them for their failure and instructs them to work more efficiently. One of Maya's co-worker named Debbie gives her a file on Ibrahim Saeed, who was a brother of Abu Ahmed who they're searching for. Debbie suggests that Ibrahim Saeed could be the real Abu Ahmed and is possibly alive. After getting this information, Maya immediately calls Dan and tells him that all the Saeed brothers look the same, and Abu Ahmed is still alive, and that they were using the wrong photo before of his older brother Habib, who is dead. She requests him to get her Abu Saeed family's phone number that is in Kuwait. Dan agrees to help and says he'll talk to the Wolf, a high-ranking government official. After successfully asking for funds from the official, Dan heads over to Kuwait to ask for the phone number of Saeed's mother. His contact gives him the details in exchange for a Lamborghini. After getting the phone number, they put it on call tracking, and they succeed in getting Saeed brothers' phone in Rawalpindi, Pakistan. Maya meets with Larry and persuades him to begin tracking. Hakim also joins in tracking the identity of Ibrahim Saeed, who is most likely Abu Ahmed. Then, on the 1st of May 2010, a car full of explosives and bombs blasts in New York Times Square. This leaves Bradley on the edge and was about to shut off Maya's requested assistance on the lead of Abu Ahmed. Nonetheless, Maya is determined to find Abu Ahmed and kill bin Laden, and she threatens him to give her the team she needs or send her back to DC and explain to the director why he didn't. Bradley is left with no choice and sends the teams to two locations in Pakistan, that is Rawalpindi and Peshawar. Jack gives Maya a phone where she is directly linked to Abu Ahmed's conversations. A team then goes to Peshawar to search for him in a van. They get some resistance from a few locals who say whites don't belong there. After they get through that, they succeed in tracking Abu Ahmed al-Kuwaiti's phone in a Peshawar market. But due to the market being very crowded, Larry pursues on foot but loses him. Maya and Jack discuss that he doesn't have any patterns and he's erratic. There are protests against American terrorism outside Maya's workplace that keep slapping her car. Bradley gets death threats after he was named in a lawsuit of a U.S. drone attack victim and is removed from his position and sent back to U.S. A team is still searching for Abu Ahmed in Peshawar. They lose him at first, but suddenly get him and also manage to take pictures of him in his white SUV. Larry then informs Maya that they found Abu Ahmed al-Kuwaiti. Maya then asks the Nuli station chief to deploy several agents to find out the whereabouts of Abu Ahmed and Osama bin Laden. He doesn't take any action. They keep tracking Abu Ahmed. A few days later, as Maya was about to go to work in her vehicle, some armed terrorists open fire. Luckily, she survives because of the bulletproof glass in her car. George warns her that she is on their hit list. Even after this, Maya doesn't lose hope. Finally, the agency manages to find the compound visited by Abu Ahmed in Abbottabad, and it's possibly Osama bin Laden's hideout. Following this, Maya, Steve, George, and Dan discuss this breakthrough with the CIA director. They show a model of the house to the director and try to convince him that bin Laden might be in it. The director asks them about something on the map, and they tell him that it is Pakistani military. He then asks how far is that from the compound, and Maya answers with exact numbers. But the director instructs them to find out more about the inhabitants of the compound by the end of the week. Days pass, nothing happens, and annoyed Maya goes to George and starts a count of days from when the compound was discovered. CIA starts to collect more and more data to prove that the compound is bin Laden's hideout. George tries to convince the National Security Agency officials to launch an attack on the compound, but officials are unconvinced, as there is no proof of his presence. George explains that every effort that has been made to gather strong evidence has failed, like they sent a doctor to vaccinate and collect blood samples from the house, but failed. Someone was also sent to check the garbage for DNA samples, but they burned the garbage. George tries to explain to the NSA that the behavior within the compound shows that it can be a high-ranking Al-Qaeda operative, as they don't leave any tracks. But the NSA says that they need more proof that it's bin Laden. After 100 days of discovering the compound, the CIA director holds another meeting, and again, the NSA wants to make sure that it's bin Laden before execution. But George speaks to the NSA official, and they get the approval for the strike and are instructed to make plan options. George, Maya, and Dan meet with the soldier team in Area 51. Maya briefs them about the operation on the compound and findings on bin Laden. There's another meeting of the CIA director and the team. He asks them what probability does each of them think it's bin Laden. All answer, and Maya says it's 100%. On the 1st of May 2011, the team's at their base in Afghanistan, and George informs Maya that the operation will take place at night. 2 specialist helicopters with the soldier team leaves for Abbottabad. Maya is monitoring them at the base. They then cross the Pakistani border and arrive at the target location. While landing, one of the choppers malfunctions and falls to the ground. Luckily, there were no casualties, and the operation gets going. The soldiers begin their mission by breaking open the doors of the compound and enter in. As they get to the residence door, they get shot at through the door. They retaliate and kill Abu Ahmed, who was firing, and a lady comes out. They get into the residence, gather the kids in one room. Then they check the other rooms and call out the name of the other Al-Qaeda operative. They slowly enter other rooms. Then they reach a room they can't blow up, so they shoot from outside to open it. Then the lights start turning on from neighboring buildings, and they gather on their rooftops. Then people start approaching the compound from the road. They go up the stairs and kill another operative and keep heading up. As they are going through every room, they find a small room full of computers and files. Then the numbers on the road increases, and Hakim warns them to go back. As they head up the stairs, they call on Osama. A man appears and he shoots the man immediately, and 2 women are with him, who are pushed aside. The soldier then verifies the dead body's ID, possibly as bin Laden. They ask the women to identify him, but they say he's someone else. Then they try to ask a kid, but no results. They take photos and inform the base. Then they are hurrying to collect all the drives and files from the computer room. Then suddenly Pakistani Air Force starts to respond. Maya lets them know the time they will take to get there. The team then requests for a body bag to carry the body with them. Hakim goes to deliver it. They then get to know they have only 4 minutes to clear out the computer room. A soldier puts an explosive on the fallen helicopter so they can destroy it, and their technology doesn't go to the Pakistanis. They bag the body and take it along with the drives and files. As the soldiers are leaving, they detonate the fallen chopper and return to the base. As Maya sees them arriving at the base, she rushes to the landing site. She is called in to identify the dead body, and she confirms it's Osama bin Laden. She heads outside, taking in the recent events as the soldiers cheer and congratulate each other. Maya onboards a military transport plane. She is in tears, emotionally exhausted, as she understands her lifelong assignment is finally over and she is going back home. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Do hit that bell icon for being notified about our future videos. And let us know which movie you'd like us to recap. Bye.